In this video we're going to learn how to install SVG Family Tree Generator and learn some tips on how best to invoke it. The first thing we need to do is to create a working directory. I'm going to create that on my desktop because it's nice and visible. So a new folder, and I'm just going to call it SVG. Doesn't really matter what we call it. So now we have an empty working folder. The next thing we need to do is to go to the Dropbox folder where we'll find the distribution kit, and the link to this can be found in a couple of my blog posts and in the header to the Facebook group. We're going to download everything from this folder. Okay, it's thinking about it. And I'm going to open it with the zip manager on my machine because it sends down all the files as a compressed zip file. So in a few seconds it should show me all the files it's brought down. And here we are. So I'm going to extract them all, and I want to put them in that new folder that we've just created, which is on my desktop somewhere. Here it is. Okay, so I can close all that down, and now we have a populated working directory. All you need to do to install the product, or an upgrade from an older version, is to execute the install.bat and make sure it's run with administrator privilege. We're on a Windows 7 system here, but the situation on Windows 10 is not really that different, just slightly different menu options. Okay, it's going to ask for my permission. Yes, that's fine. Now this has gone straight into the installation, but if you have got an older version there, it will first prompt you to make sure it's okay to uninstall the old version. So we're skipping that step. Okay, welcome to the installation program, fantastic. And click on this big button that doesn't really look like a button. And pretty much okay to everything. That's extracting the components. Now you will get a few of these little information dialogues that say that there's a newer version on the machine, and I'll elect to sort of keep them. I don't want to replace a newer version with an older one. And that's completed successfully. And how do we know it's completed? If I go down to the Start menu, well, this is Windows 7, but it would be on all programs as well. And there it's actually called SVG Family Tree Generator in full, and underneath that it's got the SVG, and there it is. We can tell if it's installed correctly because if you browse, you should see all the sample files, and there they are. If you don't see the sample files, then something has gone wrong, and I'll explain to you what's gone wrong. As a tip, if you find you need administrator privilege, then you've done something wrong. SVG Family Tree Generator does not need admin privilege at all. So let's just see what might have gone wrong. If I close this program down and go back to the shortcut, this time I'll take the big one there and look at the properties. There's the name of the program. It's on my system drive, and it's in the program files x86 directory. But the start in is your working directory. The install.bat has to configure that after the installation because the Windows the Microsoft installation program doesn't do that by itself. So if that ends up being the same as this directory, then you would need admin privilege. So one way of invoking the program is from the shortcut, but another way, if you right click on a txt file, which is the tree definition files that it works from, and you open with, you'll notice that it's only got the standard Notepad and WordPad, which is an alternative editor. But I can choose another program. And what I'm going to do now is, yeah, it's none of those. Actually want to browse for it because it won't know about it. So I'm going to go to the top of my system drive, program files x86, down to the SVG directory, and I want that program. But while I'm here, I just want to show you all the files in that directory. So there's the main executable. This top one is a library I use for loading JEDCON files. These headers are all template files used for generating the output HTML, and that's to do with the installation. And I've actually got a file missing here because I've installed an older version. There's an application registration file, which is an XML file. So I'll show you that in a moment. Let's just take the exe, open it. And I don't want it to be the default because txt is a very common file extension on Windows. So I just want it to be there on the menu as an alternative. Okay, and it's launched it. Now if you do a right click on any, and loaded that file, sorry. If we right click on any other one, open with, and it's there in the menu, which is a nice little shortcut to get you there. And lastly, I want to talk about another alternative for launching this program. If I minimize that and drag a copy of this shortcut onto my desktop, go to shortcuts, and I'm going to get two of these for reasons that will become obvious in a moment. Right, let's modify the properties of the first one. There's my program, and I can actually put the name of a tree definition file after it. And here's one of the samples. And then there's some options that are documented in the user guide. -D will go into the tree designer, and -T will put it in the top part of the screen. Oh, we'll just change the title as well. Oops. So that's the surname of the tree it's going to load. And I've given it the surname title. So that's the first one configured. Second one, properties. This time we're going to load a different sample, tree ashby.txt. Go into the tree designer, and this time we're going to use the bottom half of the screen. Oh, we'll change the title as well, Ashby. So now we have two shortcuts on the desktop that will launch the different trees. So double click on this one, and it's loaded the Asling tree and put it in the top half of the screen. Now if I click on the second one, that's loaded the Ashby one and put it in the bottom half of the screen. And this can be quite a convenient way of working. So for example, if I wanted to copy this family and then paste it into this tree, paste family. So it's copied the two people and their little marriage circle, the family circle, and their direct descendants, and there's only one. So it's a very convenient way of working if you're operating between two different trees. Now I'm not going to save these back. If I close down the tree designer windows, if I hit exit, it will actually save them back. So I'm just going to quit. There was no changes made in that one or that one. Okay, so that's our time's up now. So this is the end of the video.